You got to appreciate a person who shows up with not just food, but booze. You showed up, you brought whiskey and fish. That's very impressive.
That's why it's exactly what my mommy taught me.
Your mother taught you to bring food and booze everywhere?
Exactly.
Well, you got a good mom. But so your name is, you would introduce yourself as Valentine, but your mom calls you Valentine?
Well, when I introduce myself to English-speaking people, I say I'm Valentine.
Right.
But then when I speak to somebody that speaks French, I say Valentine.
Valentine. Oh, okay. Because you're from Montreal.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So I found out about you online, and I've read your story, and it's a very interesting story because you were a lawyer, right?
Yes, I used to be a lawyer. I did my law degree in Montreal, and then I did my master in law before moving to London.
And now you are a spearfisher.
Yes, full time.
That's kind of crazy. That's an interesting transition. And I'm fascinated by spearfishing. It seems like a lot of fun. It seems very exciting and dangerous and risky. But how did you go from being a lawyer? And that's a big jump. I mean, you had to pay for an education. You had to. Well, in Canada, do you have to pay for that? How does that work?
It's kind of cheap compared to the U.S. Definitely, it's about something maybe like $3,000-4,000 a year. So compared to the U.S., is almost free, I guess.
Oh, that's not bad. $3,000-4,000 a year. But still, that's $3,000-4,000 a year for many years that you decided, I'll just rather.
My mom definitely didn't get a good return on investment on that one.
Now, how do they feel about you doing this?
She still sends me university applications time to time being like, hey, why don't you study something different or something? And I'm like, no, I'm not having a midlife crisis. I just don't like what I was doing, so I just picked something else. Oh, by the way, I'm going to have to apologize for my English.
Seems perfect.
I'm from Montreal, so French is my first language or something.
Well, listen, you're way better than Georges St. Pierre. He was here a couple of weeks ago. And Georges is more hard to understand, and he was fine.
Yeah, so. I'm not going to speak like this, and I'm going to try to make an effort.
Well, listen, I'm impressed with anybody who can speak more than one language. I was just in Thailand. It's just amazing that they speak English so perfectly, and then, their language is so oddly different than ours. You decided when to do this? Like how deep into your law career were you?
It was I actually made a career switch when I moved to London in 2010. So I started working in finance. So I worked for hedge funds, and I basically decided on quitting law. I didn't like the part of law where I was stuck in one place. So, when you study law, let's say in Canada, then even in Canada, it's even worse because I was studying in Quebec, which is civil law. And then I was stuck in Quebec for the rest of my life. And I just got like, oh, that's not going to happen. So
meaning that, okay, so like if you pass the bar in California, you would also have to pass the bar in New York if you wanted to work in New York?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a long process.
That's different than, is that the same with, like, if you were a doctor, would that be the case?
Country-wise, I would say. State-wise, I couldn't know.
But state-wise, it is for law?
Yes, it is.
So for you would have got stuck in Quebec, and Quebec is a very interesting place because it kind of doesn't want to be a part of Canada.
True, we're very different in Canada, but my biggest problem with Quebec is definitely not the culture or anything like that. It's the fact that it's an 8-month-long winter.
It's rough.
I'm not doing it.
But the people are amazing.
It is. It's a very European city, actually, in Canada. It's people are very about food, about sitting outside.
Yeah, shout out to my friends David and Fred from Joe Beef in Montreal, one of the best restaurants in the world. You ever eat there?
Yes.
Woo!
That's
How
amazing.
good is that place? Woo!
That's pretty good.
That's a jamming place.